Hey guys, John here from the Optizen app. In this video, I'm just going to walk through how I've been using ChatGPT, Google Sheets in combination to update product descriptions and SEO meta, such as SEO title, H1, and SEO descriptions en masse, so at scale for some of our Shopify stores, and particularly our Shopify marketplaces, where we have vendors that upload their products, and we want to make sure we're not creating duplicate content for the descriptions that we've actually got uploaded to our marketplaces. So this can work really well, for example, in dropshipping stores, where you're taking a vendor or supplier catalog and you're uploading products at scale to your Shopify store. And obviously the man hours and the workload it takes to update product descriptions and content manually is very time consuming, and sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense. So obviously now, with the introduction of ChatGPT, a lot of people are doing this now. This is just the quick method that I've implemented. It's not perfect, but it's working pretty well. And already we've only been doing about a month now, and the results are looking promising. So this is just an example store here. You can see in our Google Search Console results, I've got it filtered for /products. So this is just showing the /products pages, so only product pages on Shopify. And we're comparing the last 30 days. And you can see clicks to products have increased from 424 to 509 compared to the previous 30 days. Impressions have also come up a little bit, and our CTR has also increased, which is important because we are actually modifying the SEO titles and the SEO descriptions. And if we get those right, we're obviously going to increase our click-through rates. Okay, so the tools that you'll need. Firstly, you'll need to go and grab GPT for Sheets. If you just go to the Google Workspace Marketplace, or just Google it and you'll find GPT for Sheets. It's free, and you can install it in your Google Sheets account. I'm not going to go through how to set it up, and you just follow the instructions. Now, you will need an OpenAI account and tokens to actually run this. It's really cheap. We're talking cents in the dollar to actually run reasonably large data sets to update your product descriptions. So grab that, install it, and follow the instructions. And there's also obviously some tutorial videos on how to use it. Then you'll also obviously need Google Sheets as well. And GPT for Sheets utilizes ChatGPT and OpenAI, obviously, to leverage the data. Okay, so what I've got is a very simple Google Sheet. So this sheet here, let's make it a little bit larger. I'll go through, this is, again, it's not perfect, and it's pretty crude, but it works well. So here we've got what will be the title of all the products. Then we've got our body HTML, and we'll grab that from our Shopify product export, which I'll do in a minute. And then we have our columns for our prompts. So what I'm going to do, I'll work through how we're actually going to get this sheet up and running. So here I have a product export from Shopify, and the only columns I'm going to need are the title and the body. So literally just filtered for the products I want to update the descriptions in Shopify, and then exported them. Okay, so we're going to grab that column there. We're going to Control-C, copy the title. Just move my sheet out of the way. And then we will paste those products into that column. Don't worry if you have spaces. A lot of the times it's created that way because there are variants that then the title is taken care of by the actual title of the product, and the variants don't have title in Shopify. Then we're going to do the same for body HTML. So I'm going to copy, Control-C for the body HTML, and that's all we need from our sheet. So Control-V, and I'm going to paste those in. Okay, so now we have our titles for each product, and this is only a small sheet. The great thing about this method is it doesn't matter whether you're doing 5 products like we are here, or you're doing 500 products. There are some limitations with the API for ChatGPT or OpenAI, where you'll hit limits if you request too many times in a certain period. There are ways you can mitigate that. ChatGPT, actually, if you Google how to increase the amount of requests or even delay the amount of requests you make per second or per minute for ChatGPT, there's a setting in your Google Sheets that can actually help that, so you won't get many errors or even any errors at all. We'll see if this one, if we get any errors, but generally when you've got a smaller sheet, you're not going to get any errors. Okay, so we have our 2 columns in here now. So as I mentioned, we've got our prompts up here. So this particular column here, this is going to be for our rewritten titles. So the prompt is, rewrite this e-commerce product title in a professional tone of an e-commerce expert. Start each title with the word shop. So it's a very simple prompt, just like you would be writing directly into ChatGPT, and we've got the prompt here. I'll just go through each of them now, and then the next one along here, this will be our product description. So rewrite this description in HTML, wrapped in P tags in a professional tone. Wrap brand and product type in strong tags. So essentially bolding the words that have brand or product in that content. Add in a call to action for the customer. A minimum of 2 paragraphs. Add a HTML space. Then add a H2 tag wrapped in strong, so again wrapped in bold, and it's titled features. Then add a space. Then add 2 to 3 bullet points in HTML format. Use a unique first sentence each time the command is run. And again, you can modify this as you like. We are playing with different prompts to get the ideal prompt for our descriptions. This is pretty basic, but it seems to work pretty well, and we're getting the results so far. So that's for the product description. And then for our SEO title, think like an e-commerce SEO expert and write a meta title for this product in the equestrian industry, which is actually what this site is about. Maximum of 60 characters. So we make sure that we have only a maximum of 60 characters, so we don't have truncated SEO titles for our SEO titles. This is quite important because, especially on this site, and then obviously if you're using product feed catalogs or vendor catalogs, a lot of times the SEO titles will be truncated, and not only is it not great for SEO, not great for user experience. The next one, the last column we have, is for our SEO description. Create an SEO meta description using this main description for this product. So the main description is obviously will be this column here. Add a call to action such as fast shipping, multiple payment options, maximum of 155 characters. Again, we want to make sure we don't have truncated SEO description, so that's why we have the maximum of 155 characters. Okay, so now we've got our the first part of our sheet set up. Then I've just got a little tab here for prompts. And what I've got here is the H1, description, SEO title, and SEO description. And then they're the actual prompts you can see across the top line here. But then if you see this row here, each of these have a different formula. So you can see there's formula there, formula there, formula there. So what we're going to do is grab the H1 formula, and then we're going to add it on the first line, so C2 of the product title. And we're going to paste it in, and you can see it immediately starts loading, and that means it's gathering the data via ChatGPT. And then now, within a couple of seconds, we've got our new title. So the original title was Shop Tudor Copper Magnetic Wristband, and now we have Shop Sabona Tudor Copper Magnetic Wristband, a stylish and therapeutic accessory for your wrist. So much more appealing H1 title. So now what we can do with this I'll just talk about the formula. So the way the formula works is the GPT is the call through the GPT sheets to OpenAI to run a command. But the first part of the actual formula is if A2. So this, if A2 is empty, it misses it. But if not, that's why we've got these brackets here. I've just run that so we don't end up with all this all these cells here won't actually run a command because there's no data to run. So it just makes it all a bit messy. So I've just ran the command for spaces. So if A2 is a space, blah, 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 and then otherwise run GPT. So it does have some content here. So it will run the GPT command, and it will use C1, and it's static, which is why it has the $sign there. And then run that command for A2, and then it actually completes the formula in the cell here. So that's how it essentially works. Tiny bit confusing, but if you know how formulas work in sheets, it's pretty simple. Okay, then all we need to do is drag that column down, and that'll load all the titles. Not sure why it gets this error loading data here, but you can see it run them fine. And again, we've got all our H1 titles. Okay, so now we're going to run our rewrite description. So we're going to grab the formula. Again, it's a very similar formula, but this time it's using the data from the body HTML to rewrite the description. So we'll paste our formula in there, and then we can just, while that's running, we can just drag that down. If you're doing a large data set and you do end up getting errors, generally what I do is I'll just delete the line, or delete where it'll say error when it's completed. Just delete that out, and then you just drag it down again, and it generally runs. But I always give it a little bit of time, because if you go and try and delete it out straight away, and you may have hit too many API requests on OpenAI. Okay, so you can see now it's starting to bring in our product descriptions that have been rewritten. So I won't go through how they're rewritten yet, because what we'll do is once we import these products back into Shopify, I'll show you how they're actually written. Okay, now I'll grab the SEO title, and we do exactly the same. Grab our formula, and we're going to paste it in the first cell, and we'll drag it down again. And while that's running, we can go grab our SEO description. Anything without HTML seems to run pretty quickly without any errors. Where you've got HTML for the description, for example, it obviously takes longer, but also there's a tendency to have more errors in large data sets. So we paste our description in here, SEO description, and so that's already completed. And now we're going to drag that down and let that run. So in a couple of seconds, we're going to have all the data we need to then add back to our CSV file, and then import it back to Shopify. Okay, while we're doing that, while we're letting that run, I'll just show you what one of the product descriptions actually looks like on the site we're going to import this data back into. So this is one of the products. So we can see the title here, and then a pretty simple description here. Let's have a look at another one. Again, pretty simple. For this example here, I don't mind if we don't have this link added in. I haven't added that. Didn't even know we had links here. I haven't added that into the actual rewrites for these product descriptions. But we'll see whether it actually pulls them in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add all our data we've just rewritten back into our spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the new H1 title firstly. I'm just going to copy it. This sheet is very slow when you start copying. Running it on a Mac will make it much faster. Okay, I'll bring on over our sheet. I'm just going to delete out the existing title. That's now deleted, and I'm just going to paste it in. This is actually the most frustrating bit where you're waiting for the copy and paste to work. Yeah, see, it hasn't actually. I'm sure there's a simple way to fix that. I haven't even looked at that yet. So we'll just wait a few seconds. What I'll do is once this one's actually, we're ready to paste, I'll then just go through and paste the rest. I'll pause the video so we're not hanging around waiting for it. Okay, we'll see whether it's worked now. Control V. Okay, so it's added it in. Now I'm just going to change back the header, the actual header row to be title, so it will import back into Shopify correctly. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pause the video and I'm going to do the same for the body HTML, same for the SEO title, and same for the SEO description. So these two columns here. Okay, so now I've pasted those columns back in. I've made sure that the headers are correct, which they are, and now all our rewritten data is in here. So now what we'll do is save this sheet, and then we'll import it back into Shopify. Okay, so we've uploaded our file or added the file ready to upload. You obviously need to make sure that you check overwrite current products, which will be based on handle from that CSV sheet. Uncheck publish new products, that's what I want to do, and we'll click upload and continue. And then what it will do is obviously give us an example to check in a second. While that's running, there we go. So that looks correct. And we're going to import. Okay, so while that's importing, we'll just go back to this G sheet, just a little tip here. So what happens is with this GPT sheets, I think I read every 6 hours, it will actually rerun the commands, and obviously that's going to cost money, regardless of whether your sheet is open or not. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. So either delete out all your formulas and they won't run, or what I generally do is I just highlight the entire sheet, and then we come to extensions. Again, this sheet's been pretty slow. Should be able to click extensions in a second. There we go. And if you come down to where the extension add-on is, and then you can see replace GPT formulas with values, and that will, you can either, if you highlight the whole sheet, doesn't matter which one you click, and that will work, go through its working process, and we'll just change all these to actual values rather than formulas, and then you won't run the risk of having it reload every 6 hours. And also, if you change anything in here, by mistake, it's going to load and run all those commands again, and each command is going to cost money. So, especially when you're working with thousands or more lines, that can all add up, obviously. So, just a tip to make sure you don't run afoul of that. Okay, so it's now imported all our products. So what I'm going to do is bring on over our product again, and we'll reload it. Okay. So if everything worked correctly, now when I reload this, we should see a new H1. We should see a new SEO title, a new description, and a new SEO description as well. Okay, so you can see the title's been changed, and we have a much more feature-rich description. And you can see that the bold or the strong tags we added, it's added those in. It's actually kept this link, which is good, and added in some extra features. So that's how simple it is. And like I say, you can do this. This was obviously just an example with only 5 products. but you can run this up, hundreds of thousands. We're working through ours generally in categories or subcategories, just so we're not doing so many at a time. But it's entirely up to you. We've found if we do many at a time, we get a lot more errors. So this sheet, we didn't get any errors when we ran it. I just think I'll just go back and see if I can find where that I think it's under settings, where we can set the calculation to delay the commands running, which will minimize the API requests for the period. Okay, so yeah, go to File, Settings, Calculation, and then the maximum number of iterations. So if you set this to between 3, I've got it running at 6, so it runs a little slower, but we'll get less errors. So set the number of iterations to say between 3 and 6, and then we've just kept the threshold as that, and then that seems to reduce the errors quite a bit because it's not requesting API calls so frequently. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Really quick, crude way to update product descriptions, SEO title, H1, and SEO descriptions in bulk, and you can get some pretty good results. And you can obviously play with these prompts to have the descriptions and your meta how you actually desire. But it's free apart from the cents and the dollar you're paying for the OpenAI API. Thanks, and talk to you later.